All right, the timing on this is pretty much like comedy. Timing is everything. Okay, so the way it works is it doesn't actually take as not much time hands-on, but it takes time managing the time. So the first thing you got to do is stir all this stuff and do the initial folding. You don't need this. You fold it. So what's going to happen is you make the starter and combine it with water and combine all that with flour, and you do a big stir till that's all into a big massive goo. You let that sit for 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, you come into the pot, you'll fold it, and then leave it for 15 minutes. Then you do that again, and then one more time. So that takes an hour and 15 minutes of your day that you got to be focused on your bread. That's it. You leave after that 5 to 8 hours, as long as it takes to rise double. And the trick to rising double is I'll use something like this, a jar like that with a straight side, because when it's in a big pot that I use, it's hard to tell if it's doubled. So I'll put a little bit in here, and then you can see it's doubled easily on that, and then you just stick that back in your dough when you're ready for that. So, that the first thing is about an hour and a half, and then 5 to 7 hours later, you will need to take it out of the pot and then cut it in. Well, I do 2 loaves because that's the way to make friends and influence people. But I'll cut it in half, and you shape it into a beginning ball. And that's pretty easy, but it's a certain technique, which I'll show you later. And then you let that sit half an hour, and then you do the same thing. Make it another ball, and then flip it into the basket. And once that's done, you put it in the fridge, and then you have anywhere from 12 hours to 36 hours. It can just sit there. And then that's total of about an hour time there. And then we did the baking. The baking is going to be 40 minutes of actually oven time, half an hour of warm up, and then 10 minutes of just putting it in. So that's like 80 minutes, an hour and a half. And that's it. It doesn't take much time. It just takes time management. Okay, howdy here. We are going to do the beginning of the sourdough. So what we have is our scale, very important. We've got our starter, very important, and a bowl. And the bowl, we'll put it on the scale using grams, and I zero it out. So we are going to now put in, and these numbers are going to change because I make 2. So we're going to put in 400 grams of water times 2. That's 800 grams of water. And this is pretty much what I've discovered works the best for me. And it should work great for you, because this sourdough is totally forgiving. And I make good sourdough because it is forgiving. So 812. It can be just close. This I'll just pour in without stirring it. That's it, what it looks like. Woo! It smells good. It's got like a vinegary smell. It doesn't smell like foul. If it's foul, it's not going to be good for you. It could kill you, like that fish in Japan. So anyway, zero that out again. Now, there's a couple of things about starter, and the first thing is that the less you put in, the longer it takes to rise, which strangely enough, the longer it takes to rise makes it more sour because it's fermenting longer. You figure you put more of this in, it would be more sour, but the less you put in, the more sour it gets. And I've got on my recipe here 60 grams of starter to 120 grams. 120 is going to be a pretty fast rise. 60 grams is a pretty slow rise. So I go for the medium right between. So that's 90, or in my case, 180. And just pour it in. It might be real thick, but this is fresh. And also an important thing about the starter is that you use it after you fed it and it's ready for the next feeding. So it's hungry basically. So I fed this yesterday and it went up and down, and so now that's ready. And basically just gonna stir this bugger up. And they say like if the starter floats, it's ready, but
you know, the way we're doing this with a week-long batch of starter in the fridge that's cold, it just sinks to the bottom like a rock, and it works fine. So that's it. I just stirred it in so it's all incorporated, and now I'm gonna add it to my flour, which is next. Well, hello there. We are going to now put the flour together. Super simple. The very first stage of making sourdough bread is probably easiest because you're just mixing ingredients and putting them in there. So I use a pot because I make the double batch. You can use a bowl. The nice thing about the high sides of the pot is it doesn't fly out and get all over everything. But I tend to manage to get it all over everything anyway, so it doesn't matter. So this one is 600 grams of flour, but I do double, so it's gonna be 1,200. Double check the recipe book because it might change. Right now it's pretty solid recipe though, so who knows? This works. So 1,200 of this, and I just use regular basic bread flour. You know, it's not organic, it's just good whatever flour, and I'm still alive. And I've tried fancy flours, just regular flour and fancy flour, not bread flour, and it works fine. It's pretty forgiving. Something's happening here. Oh. So, cut. All right. Alrighty then, we are ready to begin the flour, putting in flour. And this one, it's 600 grams for single loaf, 1,200 grams for double. So I'm gonna put in 1,200 grams. I've got the scale on there, I got it zeroed out. It's hanging in there, it's just a little bit small with this big pot. I like the big pot because when you stir it, the flour doesn't go all flying out. And we got 800 in there. It's hard to tell, 1,000. Okay, I went over 1,400, so gotta take it out. I usually just scoop it in, but whatever. Do however you can to get it in. So it's 1,211, you can budget. And the next thing is salt. And I use just regular salt, table salt. And we want 30 grams, which is 17 grams a teaspoon. So what we're gonna do is do 17 grams a tablespoon. We're gonna do shy tablespoons, just not quite full. And there you go. You can weigh it out if you want. That would be simple. So if you weigh it out, it's 15 grams or 30 grams if you're making a double like I do. Okie dokie. So that's that. Now we're gonna stir this bugger up. And I'm just incorporating the salt into the flour. Gentle stirs, no biggies. And it doesn't need much. Bam. Adding the sourdough starter and the water mixture. Super easy. There's all kinds of terms for this, but you're basically just adding water and sourdough to the flour. You can call it an autolyzing or whatever they call it. I try not to get into all the details. All I know is this is good. And there's the bowl. You want to lick it? I don't think so. It's kind of nasty. And I just slowly stir it so the flour doesn't go flying everywhere. And all I'm doing is incorporating the flour and the yeast mixture and the salt. And that's all that's in here. Believe it or not, whoever invented bread, power to you. I don't know how you figured that out. I know they figured coffee out by watching goats eat coffee beans and then running around mowing the lawn. But as far as this is concerned, I don't know. So you get it to where it's starting to get shaggy. There is flour still around, so you gotta mess around and get the parts of the dough that are wet into that so it sucks it up. Because basically we want it to be pretty much all the flour in here is incorporated. And you just do the stirring until that happens. You don't need to stir it anymore. We're not going to knead this bread. We are going to basically fold it over like 3 or 4 times. Super easy. That's probably the most time consuming, but I do it. I just set the timer, do my routine through the day, and it's pretty cool to have something to take care of. You gotta take care of your little dough baby. Okay. That's that. That's what it looks like. All right, here we are. This is phase 2, the end. So come on and look at the flour now. You can see it's more liquidy and more put together. And after the initial mixing, every 15 minutes, you're gonna do this. You got a little thing of water. You put your hand in the water, clean hand, hopefully. And then you just simply grab it like this, pull it, and fold it over itself. Super easy. One time, pull it, fold it over itself. I usually get 2 folds in before I need to get it wet, and that keeps it from sticking. Pull it and flap it. You're just making a little, and every time you make it, you rotate it a quarter turn so that you're getting all 4 corners or all 4 parts. And that's it. So you do this 3 times. So this is the last time, and then we will get it to rise after that in 15 minutes. See you later. Okay, so we have the dough has risen completely.
He has risen.
It has risen. This is the little indicator that I have, so you can see it's slightly over half, which is just perfect. Now, this is sticky stuff, so we combat that with this, and this is rice flour. Rice flour is super dry, super fine, and I'm gonna put a bunch down, and this is the way you combat the stickiness, because you can get overwhelmed by how sticky this stuff is, and you don't want it. Just keep using this rice flour. I put it on both hands. I'll actually put it on the scraper, and then come around here because we're gonna scrape it out. So basically, we're gonna take the scraper, go around the circle, trying to get as much as you can. And it's all connected too, so as I do that, I'm kind of just getting pieces of it, letting the weight pull it down, and then voila, I got a sticky mass right there.
Nice.
And that's alive.
It's alive.
And some more comes out of here. I usually do it better, but I'm nervous. Nerves.
Is this enough for 2?
Yeah, this is a 2. It's kind of fun though how it sticks to itself. So you can just plop it down, it sticks to itself. That's that. Okay, and I'm just gonna soak this. It's easier if you let it soak for a day, then it just comes out. If not, you gotta scrub it out with a sponge, and the sponge gets all screwed up. Then don't forget this, that goes back in there. So, same thing, I'm gonna put a little flour on that too. And just scrape it out. It's fun because when we first kneaded it, as you saw, it was all this rough stuff. Now it's got this huge, sticky, floppy, gooey, it's like the blob. Okay, so now the fun begins. We're basically going to divide it in half, which is a step that is extra because I make 2. when you do cut it, you have to kind of separate it because, again, if it touches itself, it will stick. Okay, so don't be intimidated by this stuff. It's pretty fluid looking, but it's also like, geez, how did I work this? Again, the secret is this. Try not to get it on the table too much though, because we want that surface to be slightly sticky. So see, I can pick it up. It's sticking, but it's not like really sticking. Look at there's an air bubble there. That's healthy. And we're gonna try and make a rectangle. Come in. So there's a nice little rectangle. I'll put a little more stick resolve. Flop it over one time there. Flop this over like that. And then I'm gonna take this, put it in the middle, and then that's gonna go over the top. It's made like a little ball, right? And so then we're gonna get this guy under and flip it over 180 degrees. And now we have a pretty cool ball. I'm gonna put in some flour, especially around here, because this is the important part, is just you're gonna shape it. And this is easy. You stick this under here and you pull it back a little bit. Stick this under, pull it back. And see, I kind of turn it too. And all I'm doing is just making tension. So it looks like a ball. That's it right there.
Nice.
You got a nice ball. So you do the same thing for this one. And you get to do one. But this is the initial. This is gonna happen twice. Again, if you start getting sticky, put that flour on. Doesn't need much actually, but needs some. See that? So there, it's getting less sticky. Wipe that. It's like a snake diaper. Top to the left, and then that one to the right, and then flip. And then no more. And just in, turn it a little bit. You're trying to like avoid the seam. You're trying to get the seam hidden. And also pulling it against this gives a little friction and gives you that tension. You don't want a whole bunch of tension, but you want it to look like a ball. So one more maybe. One more. Okay. That's it. Half an hour.
Voila.
We come back. The blade. This is a good blade. So we are going to take this, do the same thing we did last time. Just shape it, plop it onto there, and it's going to go into the proofing basket. So this, I'm going to just grab it and flip it upside down. Okay. So the non-sticky part is down there. This has got some stick to it. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull it out. And it's got a little more air in it. Try not to disturb that air because that's gonna give us our little volume thing. But it's pretty flexible. It's a little less sticky, but look, don't be afraid to de-stickify. Flip it, snake diaper. Like, douche like that. And that's like a ball. It just needs to be flipped back over. So we're on the seam. And then again, I'm gonna know it's gonna get sticky, so I'm gonna give myself a little more of this and just get under it gently. It's sticking to this blade a little bit, but it shouldn't. And just kind of pull it around. There's no set way, but we're just trying to tighten it up and get rid of that seam a little bit. So this one's kind of being a little tricky, but that's all you need to do. See, so I rolled it around. The seam's not gonna kill you either. So I'm gonna scoop underneath it. I'm gonna land it on the poppy seeds. And there you go. Take it like this. And then it just goes right into the proofing bowl. And there you go. And now I'm gonna put a little plastic wrap on there. And you can use like a hair shower cap or something like that, just to keep the from drying out. And that's going to go right in the fridge for overnight. That's it.
We're gonna bake this sucker. 475. It's nice and hot. And you basically, the trick to this whole thing is this Dutch oven thing. You need to have this. Oh, look at that spooch. Anyway, I make two because I might as well. My friend gave me this and I had no idea what to do with it. It's like, who needs a big fucking heavy thing like that? So, and then SJ and I got this for our wedding 40 years ago, Chris said, and it is badass. So it's gonna go in the oven because it's gotta be preheated. And 475, it's gotta be that hot because you don't want to mess around with it not being hot enough. So that means half an hour. Boom. Okay, cut. So here is the dough that's proofed overnight in the fridge, and that does two things. It makes it so it's firmer, and then it makes it so it's yummy, extra yummy, kind of sours it up. So you can see it's just a little poofy. That's pretty good. Even though if it doesn't rise all the way, don't worry, it'll pop in the oven. It should. So now we're going to be working with hot ass stuff. So get everything ready. So I got my things here. I got to get the razor to cut the thing. A special razor drawer. So this is what the bread guys use and bread gals. I don't like it because it's hard to put that thing on. And the last thing I want to do is slice these precious sausages. They're worth a lot of money.
Right.
I even paid Lloyd to London. Lots of cash to insure those babies. So instead of having it in this little pouch, I just put it in. That's almost pretty much worth. So it's just a little razor like that. Okay. And the reason it's got to be super sharp because if you pull the dough, it's kind of going to wreck it. All right. So we're going to work fast. I'm going to take out one of the containers, take the top off, use this to flip the dough onto the sling. These slings are really so handy, and then put it back in the oven. So ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Okay.
Hot.
So these are cast iron. They don't lose heat that quickly, so I don't have to like freak out too bad. All right. So I take the side, I put flour on it so it'll slide off my hand super easy. And I've got this pillowcase or cheesecloth or something that's really easy. And it goes down like that. Top goes off. And voila.
Ooh.
You have a beautiful thing. I take the razor and I cut this way. And you can make your own patterns. This is the easiest for me. And then this is going to go right into the Dutch oven. And this is why this is so easy. It just slings right in.
Oh, nice.
And then put it on, make sure your steel is good. There we go. Okay, that's one. I always make two because it's just a little more work. But you can, it's a great way to make friends and win influence. Anyway, we're back to the bread. And what happened is it's supposed to be 30, and I cannily told you 28 because that's always good to check just in case. So this freaking thing is hot. We're going to open it up. Keep the heat in. And what do we got? Oh, yeah. So this is just about right because it's got this little brown here. This is the time we're going to cook it now with the lid off. So 29 minutes, 28 minutes, look good. You could get a little longer, but then the bottom starts to get really brown. So I'd rather give it more time with the lid off. Same thing with this one. And watch out, this shit is hot, dude. Woo! Sunflower seeds, poppy seeds. Okay, now 8 minutes.
8 minutes with
8
the lid
minutes,
off.
and it will be time. Okay, with the lid off, yeah. That's it. Catch. Bread's done. So, here comes, baby. Yes, sir. Hot and nasty.
Oh my god.
So we want to get on a wire rack. Just take your time with it because it's hot. Literally, you touch the sides of this Dutch oven, you will burn. It's not even a question. There's the low.
Burn, baby, burn.
And it's nice and crispy, but they say 20 minutes before you cut into that thing. But you know what? It's whatever, because you're the one.
Ooh.
So this looks perfect. I'd like to have it with just a little bit of brown on there. And the issue is that the bottom gets a little dark. So let's see. That's not bad.
Looks good.
Whoosh. Sploot. So we're here, we're gonna feed the starter. And you feed it before you put it in the fridge, or before you have to let it have its feed cycle, because when you want to make the bread, it should be hungry. So right now, you can see it's down. It's actually rose up here. You can tell by the level of this, and it's back down, so that means it's hungry.
It's hungry.
Yeah, and it's also kind of airy right now, and I just basically, here's what I've done. So I've weighed this glass all by itself, right? And then what I did was I made this bottle the same way as the glass. So if I take this, and I'm going to put it on grams because that's how I do it. If I take this now and I hit the tare button, it registers 0. So now when I put this on, it's just going to give me the weight of the liquid in here.
Yeah, gotcha.
So we're at 243 grams. I actually use ounces, sorry. So I work with 4 ounces. So it's 8.6, so I'll dump out 4.6 ounces. And you don't have to be super accurate with that. And you can make crackers and stuff with that, but you know, whatever. I'm a bread guy. Crackers are good though. I do eat a lot of crackers. So it's like almost panic time because you think, oh, there's no starter here, but you don't need much. So 4.2 ounces isn't that much, but you could go like on 2 ounces because it's all about building. Okay, so 4.2, I'll tarry this out again and just go ahead and add my 4.2 ounces. 2.7. And I went 4.5. It's cool as long as you measure the water 4.5. So it's not that important to get the number right with the actual amount in there, but it is important to get the equal weight, and it's done by weight. Weight of flour, weight of water equal. So that was 4.5. This is going to be 4, or close enough. And going up to 4.5. There you go. And then simply stir it up. And it should be a little pasty like that. See that? It's kind of like a goo. And you don't have to stir it too much, but I like to scrape off the sides here so you can see if it's rising. And that is it. And then you put the lid on here, and you just put the lid on really loosely so that the gas can escape. Okay? And that's it. Yay!